Historic District Commission meeting for June 4th, 2025 at 2:15 p.m. Now we have quorum, and this meeting is being recorded for the purposes of open meeting laws. So, and then we've got Deb, myself in person, and then online we have Christina and Ruth, and then Kathy from the commission is here. We have Sean is the town's intern, so he's just sitting in to observe the meeting, and then we have the applicant, Nick. Bill. Cool. So back to the door discussion.
Yep, so thank you for allowing us back in to try to finalize everything we're doing at the historical building at 14 Maple Street. The idea of coming back here was to address what I believe to be two aspects. Aspect number one was the front door, because we have to, basically rotten. The overhang is rotten, we gotta fix that and then replace the door. So I've done some research, and the research wasn't as thorough as maybe some would do, but I did find a door that I think would be considered a historical door, which is a full wooden door, no windows in it, no nothing, that I would perceive to be something that was from the 18th century. I did email it to the mentioned email you just gave me, so you can pull it up there, it's right there. Depending upon how we handle the exterior of the house would probably depend upon how we handle the color.
It would be white though, not the brown.
It would depend upon how they.
Well, color we don't regulate.
Can't think
Oh,
the-
yeah.
I mean, for me, I think the concern is, I don't want a door like that. Like this, not this exterior door, but
Yeah.
that's all. So,
Right, which is the reason why I went with a solid
yeah.
door with no windows. It is a fiberglass door, but it does have the wood color to it, if you would.
Yep.
So again, looking it from 100 to 200 yards off the street, I cannot imagine you're gonna be able to identify that it's a fiberglass door. So I would imagine it should comply with the historical district of being from that time era.
Does anybody have any feedback? I know Kathy, before we started, you had a couple of questions.
No, I'm good.
Well, the picture came down.
Yeah, I figured.
I
Oh,
think,
okay,
so just so people can see. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any major issues with it. I appreciate the
Yeah, I appreciate
attempt to
the
try and find
example,
something that
and I
fits.
think you're all great, so, I'm all good to,
Sorry, I'm just making notes.
so all those in favor
Well, I
of,
don't know, did we vote on all these? I would, or should we go through
Or
and vote on
do it
every one
all.
of these when we're all done?
all right,
Like,
fine.
I can put this on the screen, maybe. And then I think, in terms of short things, I think we talked about the fencing, but I don't think we should specify a height, just to be clear. And then actually, just to make sure, I emailed it out, but let me share what we came up with, again, just to make sure we didn't miss anything. If I could find my lovely drawings. So the front, so the rear and side of the building, do whatever you want, and then the front would be a split rail style or picket fence not to exceed X feet in height, so I don't know what's reasonable for a fence, but something in keeping with what's in the district.
Again, guys, the only reason for the fence is that it is a multi-unit property, there are 12 bedrooms. There are gonna be, I hate to use the statement, a lot of people there, so I just wanted to keep it enclosed so there was no issues with the townspeople and or the neighbors. I totally, can you put that picture back?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just
It's okay.
looking at.
I totally understand the reason for certain things, but where the property is a very big property, I just don't want to have any problems with the town moving forward. So if at all possible, where the second lot line is from the entrance, so lot number 2, if you would, not that one to the left.
This one?
Yeah.
This, I guess I see this at the front, but yeah.
Yeah, so the lot number 2, if you would, I'd love to have the availability to have the 6-foot fence extending to that lot line or right around it. Only for the fact that, again, it's not gonna really directly affect visually coming in from the common driveway, from the main road over there through the post office. And we won't have to have any kind of ill will we'll talk about from any of the tenants that have had, for lack of a better term, a private backyard for the last 20 years or however long anybody's of substantial people been living here.
View. Just, hang on. So you're talking about this line here.
Yes, sir.
Hang on, I got 20 things open.
It's probably easier to see the other one.
Let it go away. Happened to the lot lines. That's a building. Yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be stupid to end it halfway. The concern is what's visible from the public way that's in keeping with the rest of the district. And I do understand the concern too of wanting separation where you're kind of behind other houses, which is not a situation that exists in other places in the district as much.
And the other big component is what? They've had, for lack of a better term, nobody living in that property for a number of years. So they're used to quiet. And I'm sure the police department is gonna have 101 other things that they're gonna wanna deal with, opposed to going there and addressing a quote-unquote noise complaint if somebody doesn't wanna see, people playing soccer or tennis or badminton in the backyard. Because we have that complete open lot.
I mean, I don't know. When you say the house is 12 bedrooms, it doesn't have 12 bedrooms, you're not gonna be able to occupy it like a 12-bedroom rental. So I just don't know.
I'm only identifying what.
No, I understand what you're saying, so I get what you're saying, so, I don't know. Has Ruth texted anything in the chat?
Yeah, Ruth is sick, so she can't.
I know, so no, she said anything.
But it's just for the benefit of the recording. Oh, Kathy, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a hard no, just because what you're doing is just blocking it off from the district. So it might as well not even exist in the district if you're going to close it off like that. And it's just, I think there are other better solutions if you're worried about noise, and you can look at organic options, a tree line. But I just think a giant fence there is just against everything that goes on in that district. It just is, it will be assaultive, based on the way the rest of the district is laid out.
So Kathy, I appreciate your statement. I don't know how the fence in the front of the house, if you would, is gonna differentiate anywhere if the people that are on the main road put a fence in the back of their house like the people have on the opposite side across from the town hall. Those people have a fence there. So the fact of the matter is, if the pre-existing, I apologize, guys, what's the street?
Yeah.
What's the street? No, oh, that's Maple Street going up?
The main street is Maple Street, and then you're like an offshoot inside.
Okay, so where
Scroll.
the people on Maple Street, if they decided to put a fence up, I don't see how there'll be any differentiation if they put a fence up or if I put the fence up.
That is an interesting thought. So if this property came to us and said they wanted to put a 6-foot privacy fence on the back of their property, would we also tell them no?
Whereas the people across from the town hall we're at right now, they have a 6-foot fence up.
And they have this fence in the back.
Correct.
In the back.
So whether it's in the back of the house or the front of my house, I don't understand the difference. But it's, guys, at the end of the day, I'm not really, it's not that big of a deal. I just don't understand how it's a big concern. I agree with the front of the house. I can appreciate that. But again, you guys are the people in control. I'm just trying to alleviate whatever kind of problems may arise.
I mean,
I want to see what's visible from the public. For me, I think it's what's visible from the public.
I've been there.
The condos, I'm just looking at what it looks like. This, that property on the corner, you can see.
You're looking at Google Street View right now, though, so it's a little bit different.
But I think, so to me, if this front person came with this, with a similar request, would we say the same, like, this is clearly visible from the public way, we wouldn't want it? Because I do think we need to be consistent whenever we come up with, those condos, those are
I
pretty.
mean, I'm a hard no with a complete
Yeah.
wrap of a 6-foot privacy fence.
Well, I'm not asking for 6 complete wrap.
Okay.
I'm more talking about a C. So the front of the house,
He wants to do this line too, so
Where the front of
just
the
the one
house is.
along the so-called driveway would be the lower split rail fence.
correct.
So how much of this was visible?
And again, my point I'm making is that if those people decide to put a 6-foot fence up, what's the difference? It's coming out of my pocket. But
Right.
guys, at the end of the day, I know that I'm not gonna be doing that anytime soon. So the fence is probably the last of my worries. We can always
Right.
come back and talk about that. It was just brought up, so I figured we'd address that. And we don't need a decision now, honestly. I'm more worried about the door, which sounds like we got screwed
Yeah.
away, and
Well, I
the
just-
exterior of the house.
I'd like to close out what we can close out, because if we leave this open, it'll be another month before we can post a meeting.
Again, I will assure you the fence is not gonna get done for us.
Yeah, that's fine, I don't want you to suddenly be held up and be stuck, that's.
The fence is the last of my worries.
So if you have,
Let's wait, let's circle back to this, let's
yeah.
move on.
and I think the only other thing we didn't make a decision on was the siding in the building,
So
so if you have, yeah,
I've got
here, I can pull this.
3 colors of the siding that I would consider doing. I've done, again, some research, probably not as much as you guys would do. But the siding that we have picked up is, well, how I've been explained to, from a distance, not when you're right in front of it, would look like clapboard as to how it would be abutting everything, and again, not my talk. But the texture, if you want to send it over, and the colors, I'd let you guys identify what color you guys feel is acceptable.
I mean, and I know we've said this a bunch, so I'm sorry if I'm just repeating myself, but so we can't dictate color. I mean, if you're looking for advice, I'm happy to give that. I would say that, all right, what are you gonna do, like white on white with like a black window, or are you gonna do white on, like white with white window, like how are
So
you?
what did your windows do? You ordered them, didn't you? I'm guessing it's a white on white window.
Yeah,
I'm guessing. And honestly, at the end of the day, guys, I appreciate,
I would just go with white.
so that's what I figured, but I appreciate everything you guys are working with me on, so if you guys have a color that you guys would like, I'm open to it. I think we'd be better off if you put them all together so they can see all the colors.
I think, so for me, if you're gonna do a white window,
That's terrible.
you wanna stick with the white siding to keep within the historic feel of the home. When you start doing, colored, and then you keep the white window with the color, like that dark color, then you kind of start to look a little bit, you get like that 80s feel, 90s feel.
Yeah, again,
2000, so I think for me, and then you lose like that historic, so for me, I would say white on white. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in,
so
and
my,
then,
my own quick statement on that,
yeah,
I originally wanted white, because I know there was a conversation, I brought up the White House.
yeah,
After, considering things, and I would think that a historic house from that era was probably more on the browner side. That's the reason why I brought the brown.
for
So
sure.
I figured that brown may have been more historic looking.
If you did like a darker window, I would say sure. But when you start to add the white vinyl window in with like the brown vinyl siding, and you kind of lose that.
Yep, whatever you guys say.
So that's my feeling on it.
I'm open for whatever you want.
And that, it might be a little bit partial, because that's just like.
I mean, yeah, and then in terms of the siding in general, I mean. I
So
know
guys, it's asbestos.
We really don't want
No,
vinyl
no,
siding.
we have not
Oh,
confirmed
sorry,
it's
sorry,
asbestos.
Say that.
I just,
Never use that word again.
I use that word as a very generic
Yes.
statement.
well, it's older siding, or,
So
Or
the
vinyl.
alternative is to, you know,
and I mean, the vinyl, it's a vinyl,
It's the newer age vinyl, it's got a texture to it, so you can argue the fact it's, you know, it resembles clapboard. Again, 100 yards out, 200 yards out. People I've spoken to will confirm that you really can't tell the difference, you know, whether you can or can't, I'm not an expert at that.
right,
you know, and it is, you know, to be fair to the applicant, it is worth noting, this house is in a weird situation that it's in the district, but it's set way back from the road. So, you know, it would be a little different than putting siding on this building that's literally in your
Right.
face on the road,
I mean,
but I don't know if,
does Christina?
Any of you have any
Kathy,
other
Ruth,
thoughts?
Debbie,
I know-
anybody have an opinion?
And I'm happy to leave these samples here for if you guys would like to take a ride into the town hall and see the color and touch the color. Again, I'm willing to go with whatever color the historical division would like to see in, you know, kind of working together with everybody.
I mean, the alternative is you would just paint what's there,
Correct. Which,
is that
And-
better or worse?
And then if you have like, you know, areas of the older siding that might be crumbling, that could be tricky.
You know.
And you're completely opposed to throwing, to doing a front, like the facade in a cedar clapboard? Like a white cedar clapboard. with vinyl
how about
outside.
this? How about this?
Mhm.
And please excuse me if this comes off the wrong way,
Mhm.
okay? I am open to anything. However, I thought we did our due diligence, but with what breaking this property apart, it came in a lot more than I expected.
Yeah.
I am happy to do whatever I can financially do.
Mhm.
Is there any possibility that the town of Mendon or the historical division could give us some kind of grant to do the front of the house how you guys would like it? Because I'm open to do anything, there's only so much money that I have.
Right.
That's unfortunate, I wish, and this is come up a bunch too, like where there's, you know, there's a way to have partnerships. It sounds like nothing that we can do now, it sounds like there potentially would be a mechanism in which the town could have a program to do like low interest loans for this kind of work. I know we looked into that a couple of years ago, but then, you know, that isn't always super helpful. The problem is you can't spend public funds on a private purpose,
I'm gonna give my
So-
opinion, and I don't,
yeah.
and this is where I'm at on this. And I'm sure, and you guys are welcome to chime in, and this can be a group discussion, so you can completely disagree with me. If this were any other house, I would say, you know, no, you need to put cedar on the facade at least, if not wrap the whole house. And, you know, some sort of a comparable material that can be painted and that it gives that historic feel. In this case, we're dealing with a home that is in rough shape and the material is, we'll just say questionable. And so, and it is a huge undertaking, it's a big house, so for me, if you put on the nice door and, you know, you've agreed to the 6/6 windows, which I think you've already purchased, so I'm okay with it, but I would say the fence, I'm still up in the air, but I'm okay with the siding, you guys can all disagree with me. But that's where I'm at, and the trees, I know I can't say anything about the trees, but it'd be nice to see the trees happily pruned if needed, but preserved if at all possible.
So thank you very much for that. As far as the trees
Yeah.
around the house, if you would, perimeter,
Mhm.
I don't plan on touching them.
Mhm.
unless there's an issue with,
Kathy took some pictures of this one.
yeah. And that one right there, I'm happy to keep out, but the problem we have
That's one.
is it's over the electrical lines. So
Yeah. and-
I don't really wanna take it down, I'm more worried about the trees on the internal property, right? So there's a couple pine trees there, there are trees, for lack of a better term, that was probably a weed that's grown to
Oh,
a
for
tree.
sure, I'm not talking about weed trees,
Okay.
yeah, I'm talking about the trees that look like they're 300 years old.
Yeah, so again, that tree, those trees, as long as there's no issues with them, I'm happy to do it. I told you the town arborist can come over and take a look at it and give him his view on it. I'm overly worried about the limbs that are over the electrical lines. Because they are held together by chains. And obviously Kathy took these pictures, which I'm grateful for. I wish she took a little bit of a closer picture so you guys can see.
They definitely grew over
Yeah,
the
you can,
chain.
or you- well, we saw it. I think
Yeah,
you
I
can
saw
see
it.
it there.
They're, right, the trees are, the chain is in the tree at this point in time.
I don't know, Kat, did you have your hand up, Kathy? I don't know if you had.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that they need some heavy pruning. There's no question. That, we deal with the sycamore trees on the park all the time. So we're constantly, we have been trying to thin them out a little bit and take some of the weight off. In terms of the branch and the trunks on the trees that have been cabled and chained, it looks pretty healthy. But here's what I would recommend. I would have you call Ted Steves, and Ted will walk you through the entire property and give you a really fair assessment as to, what should come down, what should stay, what's healthy. The canopies are very healthy compared to even some of the trees on Maple Street. So, they don't show signs of stress. So, but Ted's great to work with. He's very honest. He can set you up with somebody, that does good, solid pruning, and I would take it from there. And if the trees fail, I agree. Those power lines you don't want to get hit. And that may be the tree that comes down, but, in terms of what it provides for shade and cooling, the older trees, you can't beat them.
So thank you, Kathy, for that presentation. I would just want to go back in these trees in front, if they're healthy, I'm okay leaving them. My greater concern is more of the interior trees in the backside of the house, where there are pine trees, again, there's multiple weed trees, there actually looks like there's a bush that's grown, or that's been overgrown, it's probably 8-10 feet.
This stuff in the back.
Not even, yeah,
Right,
I wouldn't even say that far, it's more of the interior right there,
Let me
yeah.
find, does this have a better view? Sorry, let me zoom
There you go,
out.
so, yeah, no, go
There,
one back,
yeah, I
one
gotta-
back.
I think I can flip this around, hang on.
So that's perfect picture right there.
Let me get the,
There you go.
from the, yeah, sorry, I didn't order myself, so I'll,
We're all dying here, Dan.
I know, so I gotta find where I am, so this stuff in the back, and
Yes.
I mean, honestly, whatever you do, we have to stay with landscaping, I think just, if there's any way to save any of the actual proper trees,
So
Certainly all the
why don't we
bushes and
identify what are the proper
you
trees?
know, I think the ones we're concerned about, and really, I think it's these two on the, visible from the road, right, Kathy?
I think there was one down over,
These are all the sprays.
see, like, if you just go, oh, no, you're good.
I
Oh,
was gonna get ones that are green.
so there's the one from that side, and then there could be that big,
This one,
yeah, I think that one, and then maybe another one.
this is how it was.
So you wanna identify that the,
Yeah, you can see the canopies here, yeah.
what is the canopy, I apologize, I don't know.
Well,
The leaves and the
Oh,
stuff
okay,
in
sorry.
there. Yeah, I can, this might give me, oh, is it just April? I don't know, they don't take pictures and that.
So what about this? Is it a fair, and I know you guys can't identify the exterior house, but I just wanna try to work with the town opposed to doing what I want. So is it a fair statement that the tree in the front left, right there,
This one,
leave that one, And the 2 or 3 trees to the front right, where the driveway is, right there, let's just say I leave them alone, okay? I'll call Steve up or whatever his name is.
You're still gonna need to prune it.
But the more of the trees in the backyard, that's what I'm more,
All this stuff.
yeah, all that.
To me, I mean, I don't know,
I don't even know what, I mean, those pines probably aren't more than 50 years old, I don't know, but I'm not an arborist.
right, and the pines are, we've learned this, other, you know, the pines are the ones that are likely to fall.
They have shallow,
So those are the ones that certainly. you
So
should
if,
address.
as long as there's no concern on that, the leafy trees or canopy trees, or whatever you call them, you know, whatever, I just wanna make the yard so it's clean. You know what I mean, and right now, if you go back there are a number of obstructions, which, for lack of a better term, people will be having cookouts, so I'd rather have them behind the house than in the front of the house. Again, that's the idea of the fence. And it's something we can come back to, pick a time, in October, and when the house is completed, the property's rented, and if there are, I hate to use the word complaints, then we can go back and say,
Why don't you do a 6 foot, not like a 5 foot privacy fence?
truthfully, I have no idea. That was what the landscaper recommended. If somebody told me what the difference between a 6 and a 5 foot fence was, I'd have no idea outside of standing next to it.
6 foot are so like get the feel of like the Great Wall of China, you know?
So 5 foot, yeah, okay, whatever, that's fine.
Just looking at these, see if these are any- These are like. Yeah, so here's another picture from overhead.
I mean, again, we can't dictate anything with the landscape, but it'd be great if, like she said, is Ted Steve the
Tree.
arborist guy?
He's a tree
The
warden,
tree
but he's like he's a tree expert.
He's not an arborist, but he's a.
So he won't be able to do work for you because it's private, but he can at least, I'm
So
sure.
if you wanna send an introductory email to him and I, at least I have it, and then just in the subject line, put tree warden or what have you.
Mhm.
So I can file it away in my email box, so when I'm ready to do the tree removal or
Okay.
wherever we're at, I'd love to be able to just connect with them, and then you guys can all be on the emails, so you know what's going on, again, just to try to do the right thing for everybody.
So what is everybody's feeling on the siding?
I think. I'm with you, I mean, I guess I'm with you on this, I think, although we really don't want siding in the district. I do think this is a unique case where it's set back from the road. The alternatives are, you know. All we can do is, you know, we only have so much things we can regulate, and I think. You know, I think I'd be more concerned about the fencing. You know, if I'm walking down that street and I look and I see, I'm not gonna necessarily see that vinyl siding at 300 feet away.
When I
But I'm
think
gonna
too, like if
see
you keep the white on,
A huge fence
and if you
situation.
keep the white on white, then it's not gonna stand out so much.
And I know, you know, I do think there's things that have to be somewhat case by case and look at what's the, you know, because the alternative too is another developer could be coming in here and completely demolishing this house, which has happened a bunch, so I think you just somebody here that's willing to put in the time and renovate the thing instead of just the usual of rip it down and start over. And this is a nice old house. So I
Alright,
don't know if anybody else has thoughts or
let's say you.
I don't see any,
Here.
you get
Ruth, Debbie,
And I'd like to welcome everybody on the Zoom here, virtual call, to come in and look at what we picked out. So I'm not trying to pull a fast one on anybody here.
any feedback on chat?
This is pretty good,
I see nothing. Hopefully.
Oh, that Nick, I think you're doing a great job working with us. I
Thank you.
know there are a lot of moving parts here and, you know, we, you know, I'm sure everybody's gonna reach an agreement that everyone's happy with.
Thank you, Kathy, for acknowledging that. Thank you very much. And Dan, I also want to thank you for acknowledging what I'm doing opposed to just destroying the whole property. Also,
I mean, I think that's what's tricky here, and we should look at it again, it would be nice if there was an opportunity to somehow finance or fund some of these things that do serve a public interest, but unfortunately, I'm not sure that's an option. Because I know we've had the conversation too with other, where like,
Right, it would be great, but
I don't know, so then,
I might add, and we don't know anyone that's gone down this path, but the state does offer a zero interest financing, especially if it's a rental property. But I do believe that the paperwork involved is pretty aggressive, and some people just won't bother with it because it's just so much of a workload. So.
And Kathy, I appreciate that also, again, bringing that up, but unfortunately, even if it's interest-free, it's still a large number out of pocket. That house is enormous. And whether it's an interest-free loan,
you're
Or
still,
not.
you're still being asked to take on debt.
yeah, it's just a huge debt. That's why I'm happy to work with the town if the town wants to give me a grant to cover that, so we can put it within the historic district, at least to the front of it, and let me bind all the rest of it.
Now, I completely understand what you're saying.
Um,
so I don't know, I mean, I guess
do we,
if nobody has any comments, I think if we've solved everything, then we would close the hearing and vote on all this, or
that's fine, but so,
if we think,
no, for the approval,
yeah.
would it be a financial hardship? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, we could issue a certificate of hardship specific to the side.
Hardship
I
specific
mean, I
to
think
the
by
side.
the whole thing, say that we've come to this agreement that we'll, I mean, I think these conditions, but it's a certificate of hardship because we're saying that the applicant is saying that it's financial hardship to completely reside this wood or
Because of
carbon material.
everything that he's taken on with the
Yeah,
donation.
I'm a little hesitant in putting anything in writing that I have a financial hardship with anything.
It's the type of, so we can issue a certificate of appropriateness, a certificate of hardship, or a certificate of, or a, like, no.
A rejection. So there's 3 types of certificates, and so what I'm,
It gives you your approval.
I guess it gives you your approval, but my concern is that we do the certificate of appropriateness, and then the neighbor comes and wants to do the same thing.
Better in this bylaw.
Well, could we just put something in there that, because, and again, we're using 300 feet, well, that's what you guys are using 300 feet, because it's 300 feet off the road, and it's a interior lot, that this is why the historic district is approving this. I really hate to, anything to come back to me that it's a financial hardship.
Okay, so we've established this is not a financial hardship.
All right, so this says that if the construction or alteration for which an application for a certificate of appropriateness has been filed shall be determined to be inappropriate and therefore disapproved, or in the event of an application for a certificate of hardship, the commission shall determine whether, owing to conditions especially affecting the building or structure involved but not affecting the district generally, failure to approve an application will involve a substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, to the applicant, and whether such application may be approved without substantial detriment to the public welfare and without substantial derogation from the intent and purpose of the bylaw. If the commission determines that owing to such conditions, failure to approve an application will involve substantial hardship to the applicant, the approval therefore may be made without such substantial detriment or derogation. The commission shall issue a certificate of hardship. So I think that's what it's saying, is we're saying that a certificate of appropriateness says that everything is, within our standards, and like we did for that solar, where we said it was a hardship because we don't really want ground mounted solar, but in that one case,
They didn't have any other
they
options.
couldn't put it on the roof because they had that weird roof.
Yeah.
So
the hardship's not,
it's more for us not
not
setting
it's
precedent
a hardship.
to say that siding is not precedent, but in this one situation, because of all the circumstances and everything all told,
Mhm.
They're not saying you're bankrupt.
Yeah,
I don't need anybody to come back at me.
Yeah, they're not saying.
I understand
yes,
whatever he is saying in this room right now, but 5 years from now, I don't need that to come back and bite me in the butt.
Oh, it wouldn't,
Well,
it's not,
I appreciate you saying you wouldn't, but when you come out, retire from this board and then it comes up and I'm very, very skeptical of.
it's essentially, so, but say giving you a certificate of appropriateness is us saying that it all falls in line with the guidelines.
But the guideline, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not an attorney by any means, but the guidelines are street fronted lots, not something that is 300 feet back. That
So
is-
you're in the district, the guidelines are applicable to every property in the district, and your house lies within the district.
but I think it clearly says visible from the public way, so if you stand on that sidewalk, you
And
can
it's
see that house.
visible,
I think there's significant aspects of it that are not visible.
right,
For sure.
But you can't see the actual product that's there.
you
So-
can from a couple different angles, but, I mean,
The vinyl?
depending on your height.
You think you'd be able to see the vinyl from 300 feet away?
I just bought a vinyl sided house from 500 feet away, but that's not what we're getting at here, we're not talking about like defining like the grain in the wood or anything like that, it's just what it is it visible from the public way, so property visible, yes. It's not as visible as some properties, but it's still visible nonetheless. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so I don't know, I mean, I think if we haven't settled, if we close the hearing, we have to do a new hearing to make any decisions, so I think if there's still open questioning on fencing, I'd love to just make a decision to close this so that this isn't hanging over for another month and more things to worry about, and just be done. You know, I think I'd be fine with personally, I'm okay with the siding, I'd like to keep the fence as proposed on the front and side, the shorter fence. Again, and then if he really wants, if the applicant wants to come back and propose a larger fence, we can open a new hearing at a later date. If that's the case.
I'm okay with that. Like I said, the fence is probably not gonna go up until October, November.
You're just trying to close it.
No, I understand.
Yeah, and then get this up to the plate, because I think we're running the risk of availability. July. I mean,
so maybe so privacy fence on the front.
so the fence, so what we came up with before was fence on the side of lot facing main and maple to be split rail or picket style, height not to exceed X feet. Fence on far and rear of lot, no restrictions, as shown.
I think it's split rail not to exceed 4 feet.
So we also on that, and then 4 feet.
And then, I mean, most of the time they're 3.5, 4 feet.
Yeah, I just,
And then, for the privacy,
I would just 4.
you don't care, alright, so there's no lake,
Put 37-foot fence.
30 that's what you're saying, okay.
Yeah, because I think at a certain point. you do
Over
get
6 feet.
Anyway, and that's fine, I don't know, again, so let me
Why not?
put this on the screen, if these are the conditions.
I know, it's a little bit ego in there.
So the vinyl siding as proposed, due to, yeah,
There's no way.
due to the distance of the road and condition of the vinyl siding.
They're not
Let
going
me
to
get
get
this
it.
to fit on one screen, that would be cool, is this gonna work, is it gonna crash my browser?
Hallelujah. Need to talk.
Document to me. Why don't we fix it?
Yes.
Come on. Okay, I guess I can't rotate this. So these are the conditions, so I don't know if anybody else has thoughts, but these are the conditions. So vinyl siding on the property as proposed due to the distance from the road and condition. The new windows in the house and garage as approved, 6x6 style. Garage doors, we said no restrictions, not visible from the public way. Retaining wall, we said approved, but it's also not really subject to our jurisdiction. The fencing would be on the side of lot facing main and maple, split rail and picket style not to exceed 4 feet. On the far and rear, no restrictions as shown in that diagram.
I mean, and like, again, like anything you do, what is it, anything over 6 feet, you need.
Yeah, you need other
So,
approvals
you'll
anyways.
determine or whatever.
Remove the middle door of the three doors on the front.
I actually think Bill, we decided to keep that, right?
Okay, but if you were to remove
You
it,
can get rid of it, put the window in there. Because to make that into bedroom, you need. Yeah.
they want their own,
Really,
their own private door in and out,
Yeah, but the thing is, they gotta take a shower or something, they gotta go around the
go
house.
outside and come
I
back.
was just there today, I said logically it beats the point, like he gotta take the window. The guy's gotta take a shower now, he's going around the house,
Okay,
I wouldn't be happy at that time.
And then,
So we'll just put the window in there.
well, if you choose to leave the door, then you're just leaving it in, so it doesn't matter, but if you do replace it, if you
Then
replace
you're-
the window to make everything
Same, same window is on the
Yeah.
side, there's gonna be two windows side by side, same thing.
Landscaping not regulated, commission asks every applicant to make any effort to preserve the large shade trees, which we just discussed. Front doors as approved, and then you just share the solid fiberglass door as presented at the meeting.
Yeah.
Replace entryway landings, which we said was hard for not applicable. Hardscaping substantially every, and that's it.
I think the steps, we talked about like so you're saying landings or stairway?
I wasn't clear what, yeah, so what are we saying about entryway?
I would say
Entryway.
stair and porch. And, yeah, porch.
So we're saying that situation, we're approving what he's asking.
Okay, what were you going to do, did we decide what you were gonna do for the steps going up to the front door, like where the front porch is?
Yeah. I think we were gonna do granite,
Okay,
but at the end of the day,
that's fine.
it hasn't been confirmed yet. If we have to put, was it AZAC?
No, it's over the PVC, but granite, bluestone or something like that would be much better
Yeah.
and it's gonna look better.
So it's most likely
Yeah,
gonna be
I
something
don't
over,
see the PVC, now you gotta do whole wood.
Yeah, no, you do, yeah.
so more likely than not, it'll be some form of rock, stone.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Approved, hardscaping substantially, great level.
So I think that's everything, right?
Replace the entryway, stairs and porch, but what are you saying?
But that was one of his things he wanted to do.
Okay,
Let me read what his actual permit said, just to make sure that.
No, what, I can tell you what it is.
but that's
All
when
of,
the.
all of the door entries is,
It's like a,
for lack of a better term, cement slab,
Mhm.
so just fixing that.
I want to make sure the language. And copy that from, because this is a complicated one, that's all. Oh, we added it, so.
That's fine, replace entryway, stairs and porch with
So, is it porch or is it more of a landing?
porch slash landing, or however, I don't know what they're gonna turn it into.
Yeah,
It should be done by.
And then they're gonna be using like granite or bluestone.
What do we do?
No, we put it in
materials.
those,
So like stone,
this is natural stone,
yeah.
Why can't you?
You see, they say it's the same thing.
So this structure is staying or gets removed, or we don't?
They're replacing, I think they're gonna remove it and just, you're removing the whole roof and the porch and everything, or
Yes,
just?
it
Yeah.
will be the same thing, but replace.
This thing,
The look by it wouldn't change, right?
Oh, so you
Yes,
are gonna replace that, or you just gonna get rid of it altogether?
this like,
that's it, I make money if we replace it.
is that,
He's a friend of mine, so
Never mind.
whatever you want. Boss.
Is it needed to be replaced? Can I just put a granite slab there and?
That's it, it's gonna be a. It adds up, I mean, something looking like that.
I mean, you might get a lot, if you don't have any sort of a roof
This-
overhang, right? When the water all comes pouring down, it might corrode your front door. It is defense.
I appreciate, I appreciate that, but, I'd imagine we're gonna put gutters up, so the likelihood of that happening is slim to none.
Yeah,
Okay,
in that case, yes.
so this one would remain, this little one,
Yes.
so if you, so say you took it off, I would just say with the door, make sure that you do like, some nice trim around it or
Exactly,
something
yeah.
that's like,
The-
you know,
PVC,
Yeah.
and that'll combine with the siding will match there.
okay.
Should I put lions by the front door?
Sounds so familiar.
Uh,
I just drove down the 16 the other day and I turned aside and I saw 2 roaring lions. So,
You are grass.
There's that wall, like, existing
You can
piece
find
that
those
wants to
things.
get rid of.
remove existing,
My boy Trump.
the,
Don't say that too loud.
the porch, the overhang.
Okay.
It's like a covered,
Yeah.
open porch,
Exactly. It's better for
covered entry.
Yeah, replace natural stone. Dust,
I think he's gonna remove the
Okay.
covered entry
Right.
and just like have granite slab.
hardscaping, I'm gonna leave this.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, unless somebody else has thoughts, I'm not, again, I think that's not
That's fine.
a huge deal. And again, in this situation, that's not super visible as much as the house and, you know, the property as a whole. So I think that's fine. So I don't know, does anybody else have thoughts on any of these, or can we close the hearing? Let me just make sure if there's anything in the chat, I don't know.
I think it looks fine. We can close the hearing.
Does someone, or I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
All those in favor?
Somebody's gonna second it.
I second it.
Aye. Debbie?
Dan, I,
Christina, I.
Deb, aye.
and then, Ruth, are you able to do that or type in the chat?
We just get 4 ayes.
Yeah, so.
So we're all set.
And then I guess the next, so the motion, I think, would be to issue a certificate of hardship as requested or as discussed with all these conditions. So vinyl siding the property, due to the restrictions.
White, is that what we're going with?
Oh, I think, I don't want to, we cannot make it color, but
But the white.
I just,
we would, I think, sounds like the advice is white.
I'm happy to comply with what the town or the
Yeah.
historical division would like, so I'd like you to put white in there, so it's all,
Okay,
if that's the way the historical district would like it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Install new windows in the house and garage. Install new garage door, install new windows, we approved that. Garage doors, no restrictions, retaining wall, no restrictions, fencing as discussed. The middle of the 3 doors, if you choose to remove it, replace it with a window, the landscaping, the front doors, and entryway, stairs, porch, landing, structure.
Yeah.
And then the structure on top of the door is gonna get removed,
The cover.
Yes, replace entryway, stairs, and porch landing, overhang,
to be removed.
and then, yeah,
We have it like in
overhang
the-
to be, I'll clarify. Approved, remove existing overhang, replace landings with natural stone as discussed, hardscaping is mostly exempt. So that's it, and then
Okay.
that way, all right, so I would make a motion to do all that. Just,
I second that.
yeah, I think technically the chair's not supposed to second it, but.
Alright.
That's okay, Lynn, I'd rather have everybody else talk, so there's no issues.
I
Yeah.
second.
All right, and then,
All those in
so
favor?
all in favor, Dan, I.
Christina, I.
Debbie, aye.
We had Ruth, if not, we'll just document that it was a
Sorry,
majority.
why not even say aye?
No, you vote.
Oh.
Usually the chair, because you're supposed to run the meeting, so that someone else makes a motion. But some of that is like Robert's Rules of Order, so it's more like, do you do things super formal or just, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so then I think that's passed by majority. We'll issue the certificate once I put all this in the system. And then I think you are gonna apply for another permit for the exterior anyway, you said, because your permit is just interior, building permit, I mean.
I didn't know I needed to do anything for
For the siding,
the siding.
I don't think they require.
Oh, I don't know.
We will check into that.
Well, you're replacing the windows.
You're supposed to apply.
Windows, yeah, Windows interior comes.
I guess my point is, if you reapply for a permit in the system, it's gonna flag it for historic review again, just that's built into the system, and then we'll notate that we went through all this and it's approved,
So what I'll do is I'll email John.
but just
I'll put
so
you
you
on the
know what's
email.
up.
I'll put you on the email, I'll put both of you guys on the email,
Okay.
not guys, both people. On the email with John, so if John says that we need to do another permit, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I just, more so you're aware that you don't think like you have to do it again, it's just hard coded in the system that there's these checks, and then we'll just check it off in the software, that's all. But, all right, so I think that closes this.
Alright,
And then I don't know if there's other stuff, we don't have a quorum for the commission, do we wanna go through the minutes that she sent?
You good?
Dan, I gotta go. This is Debbie.
You guys-
Okay,
So
no
Debbie,
worries.
one.
All right, thanks.
a little better, in my opinion.
Oh, it was.
Or we wanna.
Thank you very much, Debbie.
Alright,
Take care.
I haven't seen it yet.
bye now.
Hey, can you also send the email to, can you also send the email, to me, for the, arborist?
Yeah, let me send him a text and find out if he's willing to come take a look, and then I can, yeah.
All right, thank you for the.
Yeah, because I see, so, I mean, if we can wait on the minutes, maybe we want to just hold off on two, because I think, although we have a quorum, but it's up to you. She sent the minutes of,
I'll just throw off the screen.
yeah, there's a bunch of them. I have not posted the other ones because the town is in the process of doing their website. So I may just wait and do these on the new site. That's all. All right. So this is December 9th, 2024. I'm not gonna read through all these. But if people have to look these over, well, I guess she did them. If you're good with them,
That's all good.
just, let me just double check.
Can I just make a motion to approve them?
I didn't scan these. See if they missed. Should have all the votes. The only thing, oh, she did put, yay. Attendance.
That should bring everything up to date through 2024. So like 2024 and then all of this year will be up to date now.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
I have to do all my ones for parks still, and I hate them so much, and they're so time consuming. At least the new ones would have AI stuff.
Yeah, it's been on my to-do list for like a year now. So it's like finally just got to get it done.
All right, so these are the minutes from 5/19/25, 2/29/24, 3/28/24, 4/29/24, 5/20/24, 9/23/24, and 12/9/24. So I would make a motion to approve all those minutes. Does someone want to second that?
I'll second it.
Is all in favor?
Aye.
So Dan, I.
Christina, aye.
Ruth, we lose her. If not, they pass by majority, and that gets the minutes done. And then we can maybe email the people on the meeting day.
Yeah,
I
let's
think
just
as
do
long as there's
that.
nothing pending. I guess I would make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor,
Bye.
Dan, I.
Christina, aye.
Great, so